So
Um,
this right here, this is a video that I display of the federal border patrols patrolling the streets of Chicago. you know,
Somebody needs to patrol Chicago. That place is
right. And they're
ooh
downtown.
wee.
And so this is the again, they're downtown because downtown was off the hook where you had a lot of smash and grab and the luxury high end stores, you know. So their presence is down there, all walking the
And
streets.
that idiot Lori Lightfoot put that money out to what she thought was some Hispanic street organizations, turned out to be gangs. And what she did was fund the project that resulted in a number of boxcars in the IC rail yard being broken into and a whole lot of heavyweight artillery taken, including damn near most of these Glock switches that you've seen proliferate around the country. You replace the back cover on a Glock 17 side and you've got a full auto weapon. You can't use it as a pistol, but they had these carbine uppers and setups where you could put the lower in there. And when you did that, you had the equivalent of a full auto Glock 18, which is a nice cheap submachine gun that is in fact controllable. So several law enforcement agencies had ordered a bunch of them to
Mhm.
go deal with what they thought was ridiculously high crime rates in their particular urban areas. So these gangsters got in touch with Lori Lightfoot, masquerading as a legitimate civil organization. She stupidly funded them, and they used it to set up the ripoff. So now all of the hardware is in circulation. There were a lot of serious pieces of artillery that some of the law enforcement agencies around the country had ordered, and they were in transit being shipped to distribution points. So, yeah, all kinds of stuff happened. Chicago is weird. I used to live on 71st and Constance in Chicago 55 years ago for about a year on and off between there and DC doing an intern thing. It was an interesting experience. My old man had loved living there way back when. I took in the sights. It was interesting. I had a lady friend I was dating, and her dad was a cop with Chicago Police Department, and he talked about how much it cost him to get promoted to sergeant and the changes he had to go through. But it was like, hey, son, you want to go out and check out the clubs? I said, yeah, you got a pistol? Well, you know that's illegal. Yeah, but you're with me. Just hand it to me if we get stopped. Okay, well, I'm not going to let you go anywhere unless you've got a pistol here. Here's one. Chicago's always been rough, but it's got to the point now where it's just a shithole with the type of lawlessness that's going on. And that's typical of any urban area in the country. And I live in Memphis, and I certainly can't say anything good about Memphis when it comes to that.
Right. So I want to play this clip here because these are two women sitting having lunch out on the streets of Chicago, and the troops come by, and they're thanking the federal agents, and then the federal agents respond, "We work for you." Let's see. Oh, let me-
Isn't that nice? And does that sound like the jackasses that run that town are telling you the truth when everybody is opposed to the restoration of public safety, peace, and dignity?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, because that's we pay their salaries. This is our tax dollars at work.
Yeah, come on, man. These idiots can't take care of it. They've got their hands under the table. They need to be the first to go to jail. So come on in. We don't want anybody's rights violated. We are all for law and order. If somebody is here legally, don't F with them. But, you look at me. I'm elderly now. I'm a senior citizen. But I've been through getting profiled in life. It ain't pleasant, but I mean, it happens. So I'm not all bent out of shape that it happens to somebody else. It's not a good thing. But frankly, I'm looking at some of the youth of my ethnic persuasion, and I'm looking at them, why they dress like that? They look like they ought to be committing a crime. Do you want them in your house? Hell no. Do you want them living next door to you? Hell no. And I'm not talking about somebody of a different ethnicity. I'm talking about my own young people. In other words, I've had women come up, aren't you Judge Joe Brown? Yes. Can I stand here with you? What's the matter? Look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, okay. Uh, I just feel so ill at ease. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, come on, lady. You two ladies, come on over. I'll watch over you. And you see, it's ridiculous when the grown women, and they weren't even 50 years old the way they struck me. So when you've got grown women that are afraid of their own youth, you have a bad situation. And that's been going on all around the country because these idiots on the blue side have been trying to discourage order,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
functionality, and such like. So we have been glorifying dysfunction, where in our ideation, you can't be black unless you a crook. You know, I mean, crime's a black thing. What the hell is wrong with you? Since when?
Right.
You're thinking, I mean, is white supremacy bullshit. Excuse the language. Like everybody on this planet Earth is concerned with law and order. Hell, African chieftains and sub chieftains maintain order in the village and amongst the tribe. Where did you get this that it's supposed to be somehow or another anti your ethnicity to promote law and order rather than crime? Well, see, it's always just us. Well, look how you
Right.
acting. And you're in a jurisdiction here where 75% of the people involved in the place look just like you, or at least they would if they dressed up like you, or you would if you got your hair,
Mm-hmm.
cut, shaved,
Well,
at least got it neatened up and dressed like you weren't just running around sleeping on the sidewalk,
Well, the governor of Illinois, Pritzker, and the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson, responding to the federal agents. Their armed agents were said to have been spotted on Michigan Avenue near Millennium Park and possibly Chicago River, which we just seen. But the governor of Illinois said the Trump administration's DHS officers appear to be carrying large weapons around downtown Chicago in camouflage and masks. This is not making anybody safer. It's a show of intimidation, instilling fear in our communities and hurting our businesses. We cannot normalize militarizing American cities and suburbs. Make sure you know your rights and stay alert. Well, these ladies.
hold on. Isn't this the same city where Elliot Ness and the Untouchables, the federal agents, were sporting 1928 Thompson submachine guns with 50-round drum magazines going after Al Capone? Isn't this the same
Right.
city?
And I'm sorry, when you look at these ladies here, they're saying thank you. When we see people walking the streets, they're just walking, minding their business on their way to work or going about their day, walking past the federal agents. So nobody is not scared or nervous. What we will see is probably no drive-by shootings, no smash and grabs in stores. So you want to see a significant decrease in criminal activity. You're going to see illegals being arrested, majority of them gang members. You're probably going to see less drugs and guns being sold on the streets of Chicago. So,
And didn't you just see a little while back and somebody gave a casual salute to one of them?
in this video here,
Yeah, at the well, some seconds
oh,
back. See, people,
I didn't
yeah.
catch that, but yeah.
See, it's kind of like the police ain't doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So who's going to do it?
Right. Right.
It's like I just walked out of some place. Chicago is draconian against anybody being armed to deal with the Second Amendment. Uh, So how are these people supposed to feel any kind of safety?
Exactly.
By the way, you can hear the saws in the other
You
room.
did tell me they might do it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of what are you supposed to do? Your local yokels and yabba dabba do on the state level. You know who I'm talking about.
Who?
Yabba dabba do.
Oh, the governor of Illinois.
It looks like the character
Flintstones.
that played
Flintstones.
Fred Flintstone in that
Yeah.
movie.
That's funny.
Yabba dabba
Right.
do.
Right.
It ain't the way things
Right.
work.
Um,
You can't go out and get on your dinosaur and go for a ride.
a couple more things, right? Because you know Trump is live right now doing a press briefings with Netanyahu. I don't think we need to watch that, do we?
No, we don't need to watch
Yeah. So,
Netanyahu. If you want to get a good thing on it, Menachem Begin, who was a long-term prime minister of Israel, who had been a commando for the Brits in World War II, I think he was a captain. You should read his autobiography, or at least they claim it's autobiography, probably ghost written, but you should read
just
it.
what I wanted to bring up. Oh,
He,
what's it? Go ahead. I didn't want to.
but I'm just saying, you have to understand the landscape. Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat, who was the president of Egypt, wound up getting encouraged to sign a peace treaty by President Jimmy Carter. They signed it. Now the U.S. has military bases in Egypt. Israel is a proxy, and combined with Saudi Arabia, that also acts as a proxy, who's making a lot of money thanks to the American oil companies that are involved in the process. We have a pretty good grip on the intelligence situation in the Middle East. Most of the Israeli Air Force is manned by people who are on long term furlough from the U.S. Air Force, U.S. Navy, U.S. Marine Corps, the French Air Force, the RAF, and the German successor to the Luftwaffe. So you have all of these Euro and American combat pilots who fly for the Israeli Air Force, and you have tank weapons, guidance systems, anti aircraft devices from laser ray gun stuff to missiles and such like.
Mm-hmm.
They're being tested by proxy, and also handles being kept on the fanatics over there, ISIS, Al Qaeda,
Mm-hmm.
such like Hamas and Iran. So you've got an interesting situation where there is a utility that the U.S. gets out of its association with Israel. There is a probable impact that Israel has on world politics and diplomacy because the Mossad is authorized under Israeli law to carry out literal assassinations legally. And that
Well,
has an influence on things.